Do you think that bald people ever look at other bald people and think, I got a better head than them? They probably do, right? And that's really messed up. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but it probably happens, right? Like a bald person looks at another bald person and they're like, well, I'm kind of doing this better. Like, this is probably pretty rare, but have you ever worn a shirt and you see someone else wearing the same shirt and you're like, well, you know, can't work for everyone. And it's like, that's not a good thing to do, but the shirt, I guess it makes sense, right? Like, that's something you can choose. But the shape of your head, that's not something you can choose. That's not something you can change. You just have that. It's not like you can be on some diet and then have a different shaped head. Like you can't look at someone's head and be like, "Oh yeah, no, they're on a keto diet and it's really paying off. I see the results." You can't control the shape of your head. So for a bald person to look at another bald person and be like, "I'm I'm rocking this shit way better than they are." That's fucked up. They shouldn't do that. They can't control it. It's like people that use their height as a personality trait. They're like, well, I'm, six, whatever. Anyone that's above 6 foot thinks they got like some cool, they think it's like on their driver's license. Well, it is. It's on, yeah, no, height is on a driver's license. But 6 foot people think they get this little star on their driver's license, which means, oh yeah, if you get pulled over, no, you didn't. You can go. But it's like you can't control your height. Your dad was good on the JV basketball team, and your mom was on the JV, volleyball team. And then they had chemistry, the class, and then they sat next to each other and then had a little bit of chemistry. And now they popped out you, an ass that uses his personality entirely being how tall he is. I don't think it's right. I don't think people should use things that are out of their control to feel better about themselves. Feel good about it in private, but don't be outwardly showy about a thing that you didn't fucking control. I think that's why people get mad at rich kids, right? It's weird, the concept of getting mad at a kid. I think it's hilarious to get mad at kids because they don't really have any control of a lot of the things they do. So to get mad at a kid, I think is hilarious. I remember I was in this class, Anthropology 2, and I was sitting next to my friend Sam. And our teacher that day decided to bring in her two kids. There was like an older one and a younger one, both boys. And I remember looking at the older boy and just thinking, isn't that crazy? Like how young he is. He's young enough to where there could be no one in the world that hates him. And it was hilarious to me to think that, one day someone's going to fucking hate that kid. And then the class proceeded and he kept talking during my professor's lecture. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm that kid's first hater. I fucking hate that kid. That kid needs to shut the fuck up. I'm trying to learn anthropology too, okay? Anthropology as well, but also anthropology too. And I remember telling Max that. I was like, isn't that crazy that that kid has no one that hates him? Like, sure, in like a year, he'll go to school and then Sarah will be like, hey, can I use your glue? And he'll be like, sorry, I'm using it. And then Sarah's going to be like, fuck you, man. I don't like you now. She's not going to say that. But in her head, she's going to have that feeling. That feeling that I just said out loud. She's going to have that. She won't know it in those words. But she's going to have that feeling of like, man, I don't fucking like this guy. Because he didn't let me use his glue. Was I going to eat it? Sure. But he didn't know that when I asked the question. So he shouldn't hold that against me. But that's hilarious. The idea of hating a kid, because there's so little you can hate them for. But then if you think about it, there's a lot of kids that are hated quite easily. Like without knowing their personality, kids don't really have a personality, right? They're like a shitty piece of clay that drools and shits itself. And so we don't have much to go off of to hate them. So basically them crying in public, like on a plane, is enough for a normal person to be like, you know what? I hate that kid now. The kid doesn't have any control. The kid, that's not even a memory that's registering in their head. But to a person, they're like, well, now, no, that kid sucks. Which is crazy because the kid doesn't have any control. And then it brings up the discussion, right? If, adults people hate adults, but it's like, are some adults too stupid to hate? You know, what if we hate a person, but it's like we shouldn't be allowed to hate them because they're just too stupid to know better, right? Like if a person is so stupid that their actions are out of their control, can we fault them? I mean, yes, and we regularly do. But it's weird. Like age suddenly makes behavior like not okay. Like if you're like if you shit yourself when you're 2, someone will take care of that. If you shit yourself when you're 22, everyone thinks you're a weirdo, you know? Why is it so acceptable? What is that really it? Does 20 years make enough of a difference when it comes to shitting yourself? No, it's even worse than that. I would say 5 years, right? If you're 7 and you shit yourself, some people might be like, oh, but some people will be like, oh, well, what'd you expect? He just learned how to spell the word difference. Can we really hold a, self shit against the kid? I don't know. But it's funny, right? The idea of uh, hating a kid, because you can't really hate them. They haven't really done much. They don't have a personality. Something that you could really point to and be like, I hate that. So it's just these very like surface level things that we hate kids for. It's like crying, and then just if they look a certain way. I know that's wrong to say, but you ever see a kid and you're like, wow, that's a bad one. That's not going to be a good one. There's no way, right? I mean, look at the way his eyebrows like point downwards. Like he looks like someone that drew an upset character. Just the downward eyebrows. Why does he look like that? Now I hate him. I don't know why. I just feel like he's going to do something stupid. Like he feels like if his class was having like a Sunday party, he and the teacher was like, one scoop, everyone, one scoop. Because, it's a school and they're not funded, so they can only, have a one scoop a year Sunday party. But the teacher would be like, one scoop, everyone, one scoop. And that fucking asshole would do 2 scoops. And it wasn't even like the teacher was saying one scoop just to be like, oh, let's see if we have seconds. No, she was saying one scoop because she knows that for exactly 30 kids, everyone is only allowed to have one scoop or else we're going to run out. So when this fuckface takes 2 scoops, guess what? Sarah can't get her scoop. And now she hates this motherfucker for 2 reasons. I'm Team Sarah. I don't care what anyone says. Team Sarah, okay? Fuck that. Cartoon of a kid with your big ass eyebrows. uh, but it's so weird, when people are like a height and then they like think that's cool. You suck. But do you think bald people do that? Do you think bald people look at another bald person and they go, yeah, I'm better? It's like, it's not a sport. You're not faster, stronger, or smarter than the guy. You just have a different skull. You can't use that. Fuck you. Fuck you. But yeah, it's like when people hate kids for having a lot of money, it's not really in their control. Their parents just did a good job, and then, oh, what are they going to do? Not have the money? That's why I think a lot of, these rich parents, they start donating all their money to charity. When they die, in their will, they're like, give it to this charity. Because, they're going to get a Twitter moment, and then their kid isn't going to be hated. They're really doing it for the greater good, But that's the only, I feel like, real reason people could hate a kid with some justification, right? If they have money, but no, you can't do that because it's not in their control. Having money is like having a weird shaped head. You were born with it, okay? Not having money, but having like inherited wealth, and weird shaped heads. Yeah, you can't hate someone for because they were born with it. Then of course, It depends what they do with it. Like, someone with a weird shaped head, it, if they put a hat on it or they don't, that's up to them. So, make the right decision. If you have a weird shaped head and you don't wear a hat, that's like a fucking rich kid, like a trust fund baby, blowing all their money on like fancy cars. What are you doing? Okay? You were born with that. Don't do that with that, you know? This is stupid. Anyways, I've been gone for a while. It's good to be back. I've actually missed doing this podcast. This is fun. I like talking about stupid shit. But luckily, I've been gone for like, 2 months? So I have just a shit ton of stuff I've written down. But what have I done recently, right? Since I last talked to you, I did an interview at the Chancellor's residence. It is on YouTube. I will put the link in the description of this video. That was great. That was interesting. I interviewed Chancellor Gary May and his wife, Lachelle May, and it was interesting. I was wearing my Jordan 1's green toe shoes. And before we started recording, I was talking with Gary and Lachelle, and then I was talking with the crowd. And Lachelle was like, "Oh, are those Dunks?" Now, if you don't know much about shoes, I don't know if this conversation is going to make sense, but there's a very similar two shoes that exist that Nike makes. They make Nike Dunks, and then, the Jordan 1. I mean, they're Jordan, but then they're also Nike, right? Because it has a swoosh, right? So isn't it technically Nike? But Jordan 1s and Dunks, they're very similar looking. And so to the everyday person's eye, it might be the same thing. So Lachelle asked me, she was like, "Oh, are those Dunks?" I was like, "Oh, no, these are actually Jordan 1s." And she was like, "Oh, how do you tell the difference?" I was like, "Well, a Jordan has like the Wings logo. A Dunk, it'll just say Nike on the lip and on the back." And then I was like, "But why do you know about Dunks?" I was like, I'm surprised you even asked that question. Like, you know about Dunks? She's like, "Yeah, my daughters, we were out on vacation. And I told them, wear some comfortable shoes." And she was like, "My daughters both said, 'Oh, Mom, we're wearing Dunks. It's no big deal.'" She was like, "I found out what Dunks were." And I was like, "Well, no, you clearly didn't, because you just called these Dunks. Fuck. Well, no, you clearly didn't learn what they are, because you just called these Dunks and they're Jordans. So what the hell?" But I thought that was interesting. I thought it was cool. I thought it was dope. Like, I like shoes. I've been into shoes for now like 10, 11 months now, pretty hard. And it was interesting that was like a thing we could talk about. I thought that was cool. Another thing that happened was, this was, remember, 2 months ago, so it's been a while. But Gary had asked me, he was like, "Oh, are you going to the are you going to the makeup graduation?" Which, by the way, it's happened like a month ago. But he was like, "Are you going to makeup graduation?" And I knew I wasn't. But I was like, "Oh, I was thinking about it, and no, I don't think I'm going to." Just trying to beat around the bush. Just, be like, "Well, all things considered, no." But no, I ended up just being like, "No, I'm not going." And then we just moved on. It's like, what do you talk about? But it was such a weird feeling of looking at the chancellor of your school and then being like, "Oh no, I'm not going to the makeup graduation." uh I tried to like come at it with a little like hesitancy to be like, "Well, no, I thought about it. I don't want you to think I didn't think about it. I gave it some thought. I'm not going, you know?" I also went to Vegas for a work trip. That was great. Love traveling for work. That was super dope. I also went to Tahoe with my friend Hoyer. That was really great. And I also learned that, I have some friends at UC Davis, that work for the school. I found out that, oh my God, so my graduation video, this one, a lot of people watched it. Apparently, it got included as a piece of official evidence in the post-graduation report. That's right. There was a committee that met because they were talking about, the disaster that was graduation. And I heard from multiple people that were, part of that committee. They said, "Oh yeah, your video was referenced so many times that it had to be included as an official piece of evidence in the post-graduation report. So there it is, folks. I'm locked in. I'm part of history. But I thought that was really cool because I make these videos and they're dumb and some people watch them, but then it's cool to be like, oh, that thing like is official, which I don't need that validation, but it was cool to have. It's like a trophy. You don't need a trophy, but when you get one, you're like, oh, that's cool. Now I can use this shelf. Yep. And I've also made videos. Here 4 videos I've made. I think since my last podcast episode, I had the Tristan Tate video, which by the way is the most commented on video, most comments on a video I've ever gotten. I think it's at 147. And then the most dislikes on that video I have ever gotten, 111 last time I checked, which is really funny. And then I made the video about what? Oh, the BuzzFeed article about post-graduation jokes. And then I made the video on like what I learned in a week, and then the second what I learned in a week video. So I made 4 videos. I'll include them all in the description. Go check them out. But yeah, I have been incredibly lonely for a while now. Oh no, this is getting weird. No, it's not weird. I just mean to say that because I don't think I've seen anyone, I haven't hung out with a friend since I think it was like October 6th. No, what the fuck? It's October 3rd when I'm recording this. The last time I think I hung out with someone was September 6th. So it's almost been, it's October 3rd now. It's been a month pretty much, and I haven't hung out with anyone. And it's a very lonely feeling, but it's also extremely motivating. Like I've never been more creative. Like I've written so many videos and I have so many ideas. And in my is it 5 years later? Yeah, 5 years later video, I talked about, oh yeah, I'm gonna have more of like a growth mindset with this thing, blah blah blah. And like I'm gonna be going strictly for numbers now. I have a lot of ideas that I think, are gonna generate some numbers. Who gives a fuck? Why am I talking about this stuff? No one gives a fuck. Let's talk about this. I have, it's funny I talked about I've been so lonely, but that was last month. The month before, I was talking to a lot of people, and I realized something. I was talking to a lot of people, and I've come to the conclusion that having conversations is like eating salads. Does that make sense? Of course it doesn't. Okay, it's not supposed to. I'm going to explain it now. I found that, like eating a salad, it's okay. It's healthy, it's good for you, but just by itself, you need a little something to keep you engaged, That's where croutons come in. I'm a big croutons guy, You're not supposed to include a lot of them because it's what are you doing? Empty calories, right? It's like just little pieces of stale bread. But everyone loves a good crouton. A nice seasoned crouton, that makes a salad actually quite enjoyable. That's what makes it more like a dessert than like a salad, right? I feel like croutons in a salad, it's cheating, right? That's like someone saying that pizza is healthy because it has every like part of the food pyramid. Okay, that's a bit of a stretch. But a crouton, it makes salad so enjoyable, but it feels like cheating because it's like, well, you're essentially negating the benefits of the salad by including these little carb squares. But I relate that to conversations because conversations, they're healthy, they're good for you, and they're like a base level of interesting. But when people incorporate jokes into conversations, oh my god, they become so enjoyable. And what I realized from talking to so many people is that there's a lot of people that don't include jokes in their conversations, and they feel like just eating a salad. Do you know what I mean? Without croutons and without ranch. Some people, I found this is what happens. Some people, when you have a conversation with them, they'll tell you a story. Some of these people, in their storytelling, it doesn't include any jokes. That's fucking wild to me. Like, for someone just to tell a story exactly how it happened doesn't make any sense to me. Because, not in a rude way, but why the fuck do you think anyone cares? Let me just justify myself here. Who do you think cares about your thing? This is me projecting. But it's like, it blows my mind for someone to be like, this thing happened to me, and I'm going to give you an exact recount of how it happened. And it's interesting enough to where I don't have to make it exciting at all. I don't have to add croutons. And I'm like, bro, that's a salad. I'm not gonna fucking eat a salad. You gotta make it a little palatable for me. Okay, throw some croutons in there. Throw some of that dressing, okay? Why'd the tomato turn red? Because it saw salad dressing. Fucking put a joke in there so at least I have a reason to pay attention. You think when I hear about, oh, when you walked your dog, that's not a real example because I don't want to out anyone, but that's essentially the energy that some of these people were giving, you know? Someone essentially being like, oh yeah, the other day I went outside and I walked my dog. Why are you telling me? Like maybe it's nice. It goes to show how much they think our relationship is good because they're telling me this fucking boring ass shit. It's like, oh, I know you'd care because we're cool. No, I don't. I could love someone to the end of the world, right? That doesn't mean their fucking stories can't suck ass, right? No, I'm kidding. I think if you're friends with someone, you care about all the minute details, all the boring shit. Every leaf of that story. You don't need as many croutons because it's like, oh, I already kind of like the salad. But if you're, just introduced to this salad, it's like, oh, here's a Thai salad. Oh, Thai salad, okay. If you're not too familiar with the salad, this thing better have some fucking croutons, okay? Now, I did have a Thai salad. Actually, coincidentally, last time I hung out with someone, I had a Thai salad. And it was amazing. I love the salad. I'm not using this analogy correctly because fucking Thai salads don't have croutons. They have good dressing and chicken and, good stuff. But it blows my mind, man. For some people, just to tell a story and then not make it interesting. Do you think I care that much about you getting groceries? I do. Oh, actually, no, not even me. You think anyone gives a shit? You have to tell me about the guy that, was behind the cash register. Oh, the guy that picked up the milk and examined it in a weird way and then shook it for no reason. Even if it didn't happen, just make it up. Make this shit enjoyable, okay? But have you ever had that? People that just tell a story and then it's not even exciting. It's just a thing that happened. And I'm like, like sometimes someone will tell a story and at the end I just have to stop myself from saying, what was the point of that? Because it's like, what was the point of that? A lot of the time, a story, who gives a fuck if someone went to a story and did a thing. But if they tell it in an entertaining way, then it's like, oh wow, that was entertainment, right? That's essentially the gist of my channel. None of this shit is useful that I post online, but I try to make it funny because that makes it entertainment, So yeah. Like my best friend of 15, 16 years, I don't even know how long it's been. So how good of a friend am I? But my best friend, Andrew Hoyer, I've told this to a lot of people where it's like any story he tells me, I want every little detail. Was the person you were talking to shirt red? That's important. No, it's not, but I need to know because you're my best friend, If you're close to me, I want to hear it all. But if you're just meeting someone for the first time, why do you think why do you think that you just telling me a list of events is fucking exciting? I could go on Wikipedia and just start reading shit. And that would be just as important to me as this fucking shit you're telling me right now. I have no emotional skin in the game. You got to make it funny so it's engaging. Or, you got to pull on those ethos, Ethos? No, not ethos. That's ethics. Pathos, emotions. It's either got to be emotional, I got to have something's got to be at stake, or it's just got to be entertaining, Your stories have to make for good television, That's all I'm saying. Basically, what I'm saying is you can't be yourself, okay? You got to spruce it up because you're boring as shit. You use your height as your personality. And you still think that, oh, you telling me that you reach for something on the top shelf is good enough as is. No, it's not. See, that's why tall people are fucking boring because they can just reach shit. They don't have to make their story a reach because they're right there. A short person, they have to tell me have to go fucking venture for a stool or find a chair, and then oh, they get on top of that thing, and that's a precarious situation. And then oh no, a knife fell. Oh no, a bowl fell. You know, they got to go through all that shit. Tall people, they can fucking reach anything, so they don't have anything exciting to report back on. You know. I was thinking about this the other day. There's a lot of humans in the world, right? Like I think we're coming up on 8 bill, right? I'm gonna throw an 8 bill party, so everyone's invited. But there's almost 8 billion people in the world, right? That's a shit ton of people, and I think every day there's like a lot of them being made, right? Or like being put out in the world. Like we're getting new ones. You know, the number's always going up. But even with that number going up at such a high rate, I realized that I don't see a lot of pregnant women. Isn't that weird? Like for as many humans that are being created, you don't really see where they come from that often, right? And I know a lot of pregnant women, they shouldn't be like out and about. If they can, someone else should be doing that shit because, they're making a human being inside of them. They're creating a life in there. They're a fucking incubator for 9 months. That shit's a job in itself. So it makes sense, they shouldn't be out and doing things. But even so, looking at the numbers, shouldn't there be a lot of pregnant women that you just see, but you don't? Because the way I thought about this as I was grocery shopping the other day. Oop, be careful. This better be fucking exciting. And I saw a pregnant woman. That was the end of the story. But I saw a pregnant woman and I got thinking, wait a minute. When's the last time I've seen a pregnant woman? Is this because of the pandemic? I haven't seen a pregnant woman? Or like, what is, what is this reason? I don't get out much, right? Is that what it is? But no, I was like, oh, it's probably because, other people should be doing shit for them, There's a person inside of them, But that was wild to me. Think about like how many people are being made, but you don't really see where they come from. And it started getting me thinking that, oh, maybe there is a stork, right? Maybe there's some like legs to the stork theory. Because there's no way that many people are being created and you're not seeing where they're coming from, right? Why is no one talking about this? Anytime someone says something and then says, why is no one talking about this? There's a reason, It just, shut up. It's not as important as you think it is. You just found something out and now you think it's important. People saying, why is no one talking about this? It's kind of like geocaching, Have you ever been geocaching? It's where it's basically like a global scavenger hunt. But when people find a geocache, they like hold it up. And even if it's a shitty little like figurine, they're like, this is amazing. It's like, no, it's not. Don't. They go on social media, they're like, wow, look at this fucking geocache I just found. No. I know this is very specific. It feels targeted. I haven't seen someone report a geocache on social media, but just like it's like someone reporting a geocache. You're just putting it out in the world because you want it to be exciting. You want it. No, you want other people to realize, hey, I found a thing. Even though the thing doesn't fucking matter, It's kind of like my stork theory. I'm like, why is no one talking about this? And everyone's like, because it's fucking stupid. Okay. Well, okay. Well, I got there first, so that should count for something. It's like, no. Maybe you should think about why no one's gotten there before. Because it is that fucking stupid, People are like, oh, why'd that store close down? I love that store. Yeah, you did. And that's the whole list. No one else liked that store. Were you buying enough goods from that store to fund it? You know how many fucking lights that store had on? You think your $17 monthly purchase was keeping that shit on? Yeah, okay. uh, Speaking of Andrew Hoyer, my best friend of X amount of years, he said probably the fucking stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life the other day. And I love the guy. You know, nothing against him, but god damn, that was probably the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I sent him the trailer, not the trailer, but the little sneak peek that Ryan Reynolds put out to basically confirm that, oh, there's Deadpool 3 and it's going to have Wolverine. I sent that to him. And what do you think his response was? You know, a normal response would be like, oh shit, that's dope. Or like, can't wait, you know? Or if, you know, he's feeling funny that day, he might be like, oh, so I didn't get the role. Maybe next time. But no, what did he actually say? He texted me back and said, if they swapped the month and the day, it would have been released on my birthday. I love the guy. Again, I love the guy. Best friend. What the fuck? Though, you know? What a dumb thing to say. His birthday is on June 9th. So he saw 9/6 and was like, oh, no way, that's my birthday, but this way. That's something a stupid person would think, you know? That's like those people that make like tragic events about themselves, you know? Like that person that was like, oh my God, you know, I was on a plane on 9/11. I'm like, oh my God, you were? And they're like, yeah, oh my God, Sacramento to Oregon. It was terrifying. I'm like, what? No, don't. No, no, no. No, you don't get to fucking do that. Don't make that about you because you were on. No, it's the same thing with this. Oh, 9/6. That's almost like my birthday. Not at all. I mean, it's like 3 months removed, but look at those numbers, huh? That's like me being like, yeah, and if it released on December 19th, it'd be released on my birthday. They hold the same weight. It doesn't fucking. That's like the only one that's maybe a little acceptable is like, oh, that movie comes out a week, you know, before or after my birthday, and you can be like, oh my God, we should see it for your birthday, and that'd be cool. I'll pay for the ticket. But to be like, oh, look, if you switch the numbers, they mean shut the fuck up. What? You really? That's what you thought about? I was looking for his insight on the trailer. Like, you know, like, oh my God, fucking Wolverine, that's dope. And he instead said that? What the fuck? No way. That movie comes out 3 months before my birthday. Oh, okay. What? Wait. But what'd you think of the clip? Oh, the clip. Yeah, it was cool. uh, I went on LinkedIn the other day, which is a mistake. I don't use LinkedIn. I don't like LinkedIn. LinkedIn, if you can put it under the social media umbrella, is my least favorite social media. I fucking hate LinkedIn. But I went on there the other day because I needed to message someone. And I noticed I had like, I think 38 connection requests, right? And so what I do with these connection requests is I always open their profile in a new tab. I love a connection request because it gives me a reason to look at your profile. LinkedIn is one of those shitty social media sites that when you visit someone's profile, there's a chance it lets them know, which I think is fucked up. But it does that. But when someone requests to connect with you, it's a beautiful invitation to just shamelessly be like, well, now I'm going to read all of your history, your professional, like casual resume. I'm just going to fucking sift through that thing at my leisure. So I always, you know, open these profiles in a new tab and I, you know, break out my reading glasses and a cup of tea and I go at it. And like I said, I had 38 connection requests. I opened them all up. And by the time I got like 8 in, I was like, this fucking, I hate this. I realized something. Um, a lot of people's LinkedIn profiles are annoying to read. A lot of people's LinkedIn profiles have a lot of words, and no one's done that much. You know, I see people put like a thing they did 5 years ago, and it's like this much fucking information about it. I'm like, no, no, no. There's no way you did this much stuff in that 2 month internship. fuck off. That's not what you accomplished there. But then, they use the buzzwords where they're like, I helped enable this, to create solutions. And I'm like, you fucking, no. But then imagine, someone had, that's just one internship. And then imagine if they had like fucking 7 of those. And then they have a big bio. And I'm like, that's not, that's too many words. And it got me thinking, yeah, god damn, like some people's LinkedIn profiles are annoying. I got exhausted. I trucked through, but like even when I had about 20 left, I considered being like, fuck it, I'm just going to accept these all because I hate this. I don't want to read about, this person and how they're so team driven and fucking enthusiastic. Okay. uh, Easy to work with. Okay, that's cool. You have the bare minimum. Yeah. You having a LinkedIn profile, it kind of takes care of those things. Proactive. Do you have to say that? Like, am I going to look at someone's LinkedIn profile and then be like, God, I am so curious if they are, and they are proactive. I'm glad they included it because I was thinking about that. That was on the forefront of my mind. I love what I see here. It just sucks that there's nothing about them being a hard worker. I'm going to have to pass on this one. And then they go to someone else's profile. See, this is what I like. I like that they lead with it. They're a hard worker. That was a big question for me. That's something we value here at this company. But LinkedIn sucks. It's just a shitty. It's like a professional Facebook. It's all the shit you see on Facebook. You include that with a LinkedIn profile. That's like how shitty a person is. LinkedIn shows you how professionally annoying someone is, and Facebook shows you how personally annoying someone is. And you slap that shit together, and then boom. Who would have guessed it? You get a whole package of annoying. But I was getting, what is it, reader's fatigue? Maybe it's because I don't read because I'm a fucking idiot, but like, I try to read books, And maybe books I should just stay with because reading people's bios, I'm results focused. That means you do your job. That's what that means, right? You're basically telling me that, you go to work and do the thing you need to do. You get results. That's what that means. I think it would be more impressive if people put like their height on their LinkedIn profile. Like if you put on your LinkedIn profile, I'm 6'5", then I'd be like, well, this is good. You can reach the top shelf. You might suck at lunch when you don't have any interesting stories, but at least you can get crates for me. But someone that's results driven, what is that? What are you doing? Do you think what confuses me about LinkedIn is how much weight do you think some people give it? Like, there's that section for LinkedIn, what are they called? Recommendations, right? Or like when people vouch for you in certain skills, I forgot what that's called. But do you think some people look at that and be like, wow, that's great. This person has like a bunch of these skills that these people have like vouched for them. And it's interesting. It's the same 10 people vouching for every skill, but wow, look at that. No, those things are for your friends to like make you look good. It's like when you you make a Reddit post or some shit. Not that I go on Reddit, but like you make a Reddit post and you send it to your friends so you can get upvotes. That's what that shit is. It doesn't mean anything. And then the people that go too far back, I'm like, do you think this matters still? I won a Youth Impact Award in 4th grade. Okay. What did you do? Pick up trash one weekend? I pick up trash every fucking weekend when I wake up out of bed on a Saturday, okay? That's me picking myself up. I don't need to hear about your creek week, motherfucker. uh, yeah, some people, I saw on one person's profiles, they had their high school GPA. I was like, dog, what? This guy like has a full-time job at like a tech company. Why is his high school GPA on his LinkedIn profile? It didn't make sense to me. He still has all the clubs, all the high school clubs he was in. Who cares? It does, I mean, it is nice though. I think if you take the time to read some of those, like if someone was a cashier at an Abercrombie and Fitch, it'd be interesting to see how they dress that up. It'd be cool to read like, oh well, how are you selling yourself? You know, if you just say a cashier, it's like, oh well, you know. But then if you say, you know, you helped enable customers, well now you're a crouton. Now you're exciting in this fucking LinkedIn sea of salad leaves. You are something I'm gonna go for. Because if you just say cashier, that's almost as boring as eating a salad with no dressing and croutons. And that's why I think you should be able to add your height onto LinkedIn profiles so that so that people can hire you based on things that are out of your control. Anyways, last podcast episode, it got a lot of likes. I want to say thank you so much. I got like 8 subscribers from the last episode, 18 likes. I said, you know, basically these likes determine my self-esteem for the next week, and you guys listened. Nope, you felt sorry for me, but I'm going to look at it as in you listened, and all I ask is you do that again. Leave a like on this video, make sure you subscribe, and it's good to be back. I really enjoyed doing this, and I want to say thank you for listening, and I'll talk at you next week. Okay? Bye.